Hello, welcome to our series of Great Kings of India. And today we have a very eminent historian, Mrs. Meeta Joshi. So, first, let's welcome her. Welcome to the show, Meeta ji. How are you doing today?
Namaskar, Kanchan. I'm fine. How are you?
And as we know that in this series of Great Kings of India, we talk about the contribution of the kings of India. And today, as you know, we are discussing about Prithviraj Chauhan, who is one of the bravest and one of the most popular king of northern India. So I would like to ask you, what is the period of his rule in India?
Okay, Kanchan. See, Prithvi Raj Chauhan, he belonged to the Chehmana dynasty, and his reign in India was from 1178 to 1192 CE. CE means Common Era. So he is one of the most heroic personalities in Indian history. Why? Because he was the person who kept the Islamic invasions at bay for a very long period of time.
Well, definitely everybody knows about his heroism and how he fought wars. And I would like to know two things. First, let's discuss about what kind of general he was and what kind of war he has won.
First of all, Rajputs are a warrior clan, as everyone knows, and he belonged to that clan. And before him, his predecessors were defeated by the Islamic invasions many number of times. But when Prithviraj Chauhan came to rule from 1178 AD, he defeated the Ghurid king Muhammad Ghori in the first battle of the Rhine in 1190 AD. Muhammad Ghori was a very brutal invader, and he entered Multan, and he first came to India and he invaded Bhatinda, which is in Punjab. And then he challenged Prithviraj Chauhan. Prithviraj Chauhan gave him a tough fight, and Muhammad Ghori was defeated badly in the first battle of the Rhine. Muhammad Ghori went back to his place, and he planned for 2 years. He built a strong army of 1,20,000 people with all very good horses. You know, because Multan horses are world famous. They are very strong, they are well built. So he built an army with those horses, and he did his groundwork that how he can defeat Prithviraj Chauhan. But on the other hand, Prithviraj Chauhan took his first win very, very lightly, because he said, "Oh, first time I gave him a very hard time. So if at all he again comes to India, we will see." But Muhammad Ghori, he came with a plan, and he teamed up with Jaichand. Jaichand was one of the rulers whose daughter was kidnapped by Prithviraj Chauhan, Sanyogita. He kidnapped Sanyogita from her Swayamvar. In previous times in the Rajput clan, the girl was allowed to choose her own husband. So that was Swayamvar. Many kings would be invited, and she would choose that whom she will choose as her husband. So from her Swayamvar, Prithviraj Chauhan had kidnapped Sanyogita, and he married her. So Jaichand had this grudge in his heart, and he gave all the secrets of Chehmana dynasty to Muhammad Ghori. That's why still people who becomes a traitor, they say he's a Jaichand. You see, in the political sphere, if anyone defeats anyone, deceives anyone, they say he's a Jaichand. So this was the story of Jaichand. And then in 1192 AD, Muhammad Ghori came again to India and he challenged Prithviraj Chauhan again. Prithviraj Chauhan, it is said because the accounts, written accounts which are there, like Prithviraj Raso, written by the court poet of Prithviraj Chauhan, his name was Chand Bardai. It's a very beautiful account of the life of Prithviraj Chauhan, Prithviraj Raso. And not only Chand Bardai, many Islamic historians has described his heroism, like in Tabqat-e-Nasiri, his personality is described, that how heroically he fought. So 1192, he came to India again, Muhammad Ghori, and he challenged Prithviraj Chauhan. But Prithviraj Chauhan first sent him a letter saying that if he accepts his defeat in advance, then we will not fight. So Muhammad Ghori felt offended and he said, "You come to the ground, I want to fight." And then a very fierce battle happened, the Second Battle of Tarain in 1192 AD, in which Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated and killed. And see why this is so significant, because with this Second Battle of Tarain only, the Islamic invaders, they have established their roots in India. It is a very few battles, Kanchan, like this Second Battle of Tarain in 1192 AD, then 1757 AD, the Battle of Plassey, which wrote the ill fate of India in the hand of Britishers between Robert Clive and Nawab Sirajuddaulah. One more battle, First Battle of Panipat between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi. So all these invaders, you see, Babur was also an invader. He was also a Turk. Muhammad Ghori was again an Islamic invader, and Britishers, everyone knows. So these three battles in the Indian history, Second Battle of Tarain, Battle of Plassey, and the First Battle of Panipat, changed the fate of Indian history totally. So that's why this Second Battle of Tarain is very, very significant, because the territories which were guarded so well by Prithviraj Chauhan, almost the entire northwest India, today's Haryana, Punjab, and Delhi, they were the main centers. So it was so well guarded by the Chehmana dynasty, and it fell into the hands of Ghurids, because Muhammad Ghori, he was a Ghurid ruler. And from there, I must say that it was very unfortunate that this invasion, the slavery started from there. We became slaves from that time only, because then he appointed his vassal as his governor in India, and he went back, Muhammad Ghori. Even Qutbuddin Aibak was his vassal only, the founder of slave dynasty, Mamluk dynasty, which started the Delhi Sultanate in India. You see?
Well, we know about Prithviraj Chauhan. We always feel proud of his achievement. So I would like to know what kind of administrative personality he was. How were people under her reign? They were good, or they were economically satisfied? What kind of king he was when we talk about maintaining a kingdom?
no doubt he was a very able king and a very good administrator, because in his court he had a team of scholars, okay, scholars and nobles who were designated different departments, and those people would meticulously look after the works of the kingdom. The best thing about his administration was, unlike his predecessors who were falling again and again into the invasions of Islamic kings, unlikely Prithviraj Chauhan overcame that. He was the person who kept those Islamic invasions at bay. Rajputs, in India, the Rajputs were able to stop the Islamic invasions for about 500 long years. So Prithviraj Chauhan also did the same. So they had a very good army. Their cavalry was very good. It is said that in his army there were around 3,000 elephants and 3 lakh horses. It might be an exaggeration because the author was his court poet, Chand Bardai. But if you look into another foreign accounts of the Islamic authors only, like Tabqat-e-Nasiri or Tajul Masir wrote. So in that, it is again, they have, though they have said that he was defeated and killed very brutally, Prithviraj Chauhan, but they could not stop themselves by to describe his heroism, that how heroically he fought. See, that's why if you go to the side of Ajmer or Delhi, you will find many statues of Prithviraj Chauhan on a horse. And there are many poems about it, like this Chand Bardai, and he knew this one art was there, that through sound he would throw his arrow. So that was known as Shabd Bhedi Baan. So he had an expertise in it. So in one of the dohas, Chand Bardai he writes, he writes Char Haath Chaubis Gaj, Angul Asht Praman, Ta Upar Sultan hai Mat Chuko Chauhan. So in code language, he gave the position of the Ghurid king, and he threw the Shabd Bedi Baan, and it actually Muhammad Ghori got injured in the first battle of the Rhine. So you can, in those poems, you can see his quality, that how able a warrior he was.
Well, definitely, because we still recall him all over the years. We really feel proud about his contribution. I would like to know what kind of cultural advancement is done during his period, because we know that he was a warrior, he's a very good general, and he fought wars very successfully. And then we are talking about the court poet. So I'm sure there must be a advancement or any contribution when we talk about literacy and cultural contribution.
That's what I told you, that in his court he had around all scholars and nobles he had in his court. Scholars means pandits who were well read. And in his time, the literature, you get lots of literature. Prithviraj Raso by Chand Bardai. Then one book is there, Prithviraj Vijay. And these were the Indian accounts. Then you get the foreign accounts also, like Tabqat-e-Nasiri. So in literature, in his time period, it excelled. in literature. Because he was a Rajput, so they were very particular about their customs and, the culture. So they preserved, see, they were able to preserve the culture from the Islamic invasions for a very long time. Otherwise, all the customs which we have now, if those people would not have preserved it, then we would have never known about them.
What happened about after his death to about his kingdom? Were on any Hindu king ruled after him?
Yes, his one of his Rajput prince only was appointed as the governor of Muhammad Ghori, who was the relative of Raja Jayachand, because Jayachand made a deal with Muhammad Ghori against Prithviraj Chauhan. So though he was a Hindu ruler, but because he was a vassal, he was a slave, he accepted Muhammad Ghori's suzerainty. So then you don't find any, very prominent Hindu ruler after him. Because then this was 1192, and then 1206 AD, the establishment of Mamluk dynasty or slave dynasty in Delhi. Then all your Delhi Sultanate are all Islamic kings. Then from 1526 to 1707, Mughal Empire, again all Islamic kings. And after that, very unfortunately, from 1757 till 1947 is the British rule. So where were our kings? No kings. He was most probably the most heroic king who left his imprints in the pages of Indian history, in the hearts of the people.
So, how you would like to recall Prithviraj Chauhan as a historian and as a person?
It's very obvious that whenever, because from childhood we have heard about Prithviraj Chauhan, his tales about his heroism. So he is a hero, no doubt. He is a hero. And he was a very able warrior. He was a very able king that way. And the biggest thing that he could keep the Islamic invasions at bay. That was the most important thing. And only after second Battle of Tarain in 1192 AD, India fell into the hands of those Islamic invaders. So that way, if you evaluate him, he was a very, he was and he will continue to be a very prominent personality as a king, as an individual in the pages of Indian history.
Well, lastly, I would like to ask you what kind of message you would like to give to the young people of India when we are talking about Prithviraj Chauhan and how we should really recall him. As you already mentioned that he is a hero, but apart of this, what kind of message the young people should get from the lives and death of Prithviraj Chauhan?
Rajputs had one quality, Kanchan, that they, whatever they said, they did that. उन लोगों की जबान की वैल्यू होती थी. So when Muhammad Ghori came for the second time in 1192 AD for the second battle of the Rhine, and as I told you, they wrote a letter, Prithviraj Chauhan, and some small little kings, they wrote a letter to him that if you want peace, we are ready for that also. Because they knew the value of a human life. unnecessarily, they, for their egos, they never wanted to get into a battle, you see. So that was the reason he has sent that letter. But when Muhammad Ghori completely denied and he challenged him, and he was a Rajput, and Rajput blood is obviously hot, so he accepted the challenge. And he got martyred also, because I will not say he got defeated. It was, because he became immortal after that, after the second battle, because he fought really very heroically. At the end, in one of the accounts, we get to know that he was, made a prisoner, and he was forced to become a vassal of Muhammad Ghori, but he refused to accept that. So even he was blinded, it seems. So how much brutal those people were, you can just imagine. And on the contrary, he wanted peace. He wanted that there should be no bloodshed. So we should learn all these qualities, from these kings, that they had some set of morals and principles. But when it came to Islamic invaders, for them it was either hook or crook. There were no morals. They said everything is fair in love and war. But for Rajput people, they had certain set of rules, principles, and morals, which we should take from them. You see, it polishes your personality. All these things, when you keep your word, which that is a very important thing.
No doubt, Prithviraj Chauhan is one of the greatest Indian king, and it is so pleasure to talk about him today with Mita Joshi, and we'll be discussing more about other kings of India. But thanks, Mitaji, you gave us chance to recall the greatest king we ever know, the hero of Indian subcontinent, Prithviraj Chauhan. We'll see you and meet you again in next episode. Till then, bye bye.
Sure, Kanchan. Thank you. Bye.